Hey, welcome back to another episode of Real Men Unscripted. I'm Derek.
I'm Domingo. Welcome back.
And welcome back, Dr. Jon. Thank you for coming on last time, and thank you for coming on again. And so we didn't talk about it in the first episode, but you did, I think it was Assembly 21.
Yes, sir.
So you ran for Assembly 21, which I was hoping you'd win.
Yeah, me too.
I actually didn't know you were out of it when I called you. I thought the two highest go to, but apparently there was a primary. I don't understand all that because I'm not in the political realm. But so tell us about that. You were running, and do you plan on running for anything else in the future? Or?
It's a beautiful process. I decided to run after during COVID, when I saw what was happening, the defunding the police, the COVID stuff, vaccines. And they were trying to shut me down, and the vaccines, and OSHA came in and was going to fine me for not masking and gowning and doing whatever else they wanted, and I just basically, hate to say, gave them the finger, proverbially, but I did, until their fine got big enough where I thought, okay, that's not a good way to do that. But they didn't have warrants, and they came in my office without a warrant. They didn't have subpoenas, and they were interviewing my staff, and it was one of those things where I was like, man, wait, this is crazy. I don't know my constitutional rights, and I better learn them. That's when I started taking all kinds of constitutional training, and then it wasn't until I narrated the entire Nevada Constitution. It's on my campaign website, word for word, first word to the last word, and I think all candidates should be required to do that and pass a test about that, because that's what you take your oath to. And so I ran. I won my primary and the first time, and then I lost in the general. And then this last time I actually did worse. Even though I did better, I did worse. Just as we started, you asked if I was endorsed by the governor. I was not. Look, I'll reach across the aisle and I'll do certain things that, in regards to budgets, and there's wiggle room there. But when it comes to my moral compass and code, I'm just not going to violate it, and I wasn't going to sell out. I wasn't going to vote for SB 146, sex change operations for children. I wasn't going to sign on to that. And I thought, I don't want to start my political career owing somebody something. So I would rather tell them no now rather than not being able to tell them no later. I knew once I did that I probably wasn't going to win the election, but, I'm a fighter. And so it was important to fight all the way through to the last. I lost by a couple 100 votes, but I never turned I walked over 6,000 homes. I knocked on the doors and greeted everybody. I had signs up. I did everything you could. I ran a very, very, very proud campaign. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but, thank you, God, for unanswered prayers, because I know God has a better and bigger calling for me. And so I didn't really have much upset. It was certainly a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, not necessarily wasted, but when you don't prevail, Monday morning quarterback yourself all day long. But look, I love this country. I love Nevada. I love the people in Nevada. And when you run and you lose, your first thing is I want to blame everybody, and I didn't do that. I just thought, we ran a good race, we lost, so move on.
There's always a winner and a loser, right?
Look, everything is according to God's plan, and if I was to win, and then I would have won. But God must have something more for me. He must have something new for me. He must be
not must. He does.
Yeah, right. Correct.
He does have something.
And I'm trying to figure that out. So I know that after I had lost, I would love to. I thought, okay, now what? And that's kind of what's next. So
I know you've been to Mar-a-Lago, because I'm friends with you, and so I know you went to an event there. If President Trump won, say, and he kind of like RFK doing something in there, and I know the brother and sister of those two doctors, the Means, they're like, I think their last name is Means. They're everywhere right now. Would you do something with him if he asked you to do something in the medical field with the, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's how that works, but
first and foremost, I would be humbled, and the answer would be yes. Yes, but that would never happen. Obviously, I was not even a glimmer in this Trump's eye. I was a nobody. I was invited by some friends that worked with Tom Homan, our border security, Homeland
security,
Right.
yeah.
I love that
person.
guy.
And
I hope.
I will tell you-
Would you think he would come back to work and
Yes,
run it?
absolutely. He was by far, when I met him, he was a very powerful man. He was a kind man. He had a lot of ideas, and that whole entire time I was at Mar-a-Lago, I was just enamored by the situation and who the people were there. I mean, not just necessarily. I mean, you got to have some coin to be there. For me, I was lucky to be asked and as a guest, but it was nice, and the facility itself, the venue is gorgeous. I mean, Emily Post's family, the Post family from Post Cereals, originally owned it.
Yeah.
Then it went into receivership, and Trump bought it out of that, and he kept a lot of it as the original. And it was beautiful, and it just was an absolutely beautiful property, and certainly undervalued. And it was more of the scamdemic kind of group there that were trying to hold him, saying that he overpriced what everybody does, I guess, his value of that place, but certainly was not in anywhere way. I'd be willing to say 19 million would be for like the carport. It just was a magnificent place. But I don't think politics is in my future. I think I've learned my lesson. I loved it, but you never say never. I'm going to let God guide me from here on out. And the truth is, I thought I was being guided, and maybe that was a guide to the knowledge that led me to the Bible.
Yeah.
That's what led me to the Bible, was the Constitution and the documents. So no upset. I don't harbor any resentment towards anybody. My opponent that I ran against this last time was a little bit wasn't less than desirable. Let's just say she was a little bit not a good person, and that much I can say. I just wish that when I ran the first time, the people I ran against, they give me hugs. We're friends. We see them. They endorse me. This time it was just a really nasty, ugly event, and it was ugly, and it's unfortunate because but it's politics. So, and you be a man.
Yeah.
You take your wins, you take your losses, and the people shouldn't know whether you've won or lost. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And you worked with her, right? Or
No.
No. But she worked at Metro or no?
I don't think she was LVMPD. I think she was some other department.
She worked somewhere. But
Yeah.
The governor endorsed her, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't think
the
she
thing
was
about
ever in
that is that
department.
the truth is the governor did not really endorse anybody. His team went in and said, who can work with the governor? Who can work with the governor?
Oh,
Okay, here's who
gotcha.
you're choosing. And look, good luck to Joe. Look, my opinion of him means very, very little in the scheme of things. The only thing that matters is if he does right by the people of Nevada. I will suppress any of my emotions or my opinion of him or opinion of what he does and how he's voted. It's just best that the people of Nevada be treated fairly, justly, and have an opportunity to thrive. There are a lot of things that Las Vegas in particular do better than any place in the world. Tourism. One of the things and when I was running, I had a lot of great ideas. I had traveled the country and met with legislators for various different states and thought, this is good, let's bring it back. Indianapolis and what they did when they once had the lowest test scores in the country now are some of the highest. And Florida's great in schools. Tennessee's doing better. Texas is always up there. And Connecticut's incredible. When you start to ask these people what they're doing, and I would bring home this information and turn it into something we could utilize here in Nevada. And the only disappointment that I truly have is I didn't really get to show my work. I didn't get to show off all the good work I've done. But hey, you know what? I'm still proud to be an American. I'm even prouder to be a Nevadan. And because I know the Constitution, that means something.
So in the first episode, you mentioned that you recently got baptized in 2023.
Yeah.
So what led you, because that's awesome, welcome to the family,
Thank you,
right? How did that come about for you? Because, some people are baptized when they're, teenagers.
It's kind of a weird story. I had known something was missing in my life a long time. I couldn't put a finger on it. I was a little bit hollow inside. I just seemed to be going through the motions with girlfriends and life, and it just seemed like that with the fulfillment and me being dedicated to something was missing. And I had gone on a trip down to Colombia, and I had done
a mission trip or just
kind
a
of
trip?
like more of a mission trip. I had gone down there to get up into the jungle with the indigenous people, and they showed me. I ate with them. I slept, in their hammocks, and I really got up into the jungle. I had jungle medicines. Had various different things and jungle foods and jungle. I just got to be a little bit more tribal, and it was like I needed a break from the matrix. And when I was there, I was just overwhelmed by seeing how they slept on the ground, literally in the dirt, and they were happy. I mean, there were people that they didn't have any material things that we have, not even 1,000th of the material things that we have, but yet these people were so blatantly happy and love and peaceful, and they just loved each other and had such incredible detachment from the matrix that we live in. And when I came back, I was afraid of losing that, and I went to bed and woke up, and it was just like God called me and said, when are you going to show up? And my mentor, I mentioned him earlier, Derek, and my pastor, Greg Seymour from Calvary Red Rock, shout out to them, said, I said, look, I'm doing this. And
so you were already going to Calvary before you went to this place?
I was kind of already involved in
good.
it.
Okay.
And it was kind of the thing that pushed me over the end, that said, this is what I needed to do. And after baptism, that was in November, December, I'm baptized. And it was like, they say that once you've kind of found that Satan's going to come for you. And it was like, man, I had so many battles after that baptism that I was like, this is weird. Like, I'm having, people are fighting with me that I don't even know who they are. It was like it was coming out. I couldn't get out from under it. And I went to my pastor and said, oh, wait, maybe I made a mistake here. And he said, oh, you certainly did not make a mistake. You're in the battle, brother. Yeah. And get ready to put your armor on, because there's an armor for God.
Yep.
You need that chest plate. You need that belt. You need those shin guards. You need that helmet. You need that. The sword, the shield. And I'm learning that, and I'm learning that. And so it was in December, I was baptized, and then it wasn't until really February that I kind of really threw myself down and said, I can't do this anymore alone. And matter of fact, I don't want to do this anymore alone. And God put it on me to get more involved, and now Wednesdays I devote my time again to my men's group, and Sundays I either watch it online or I go. Most of the time I go, but if I can't go, I watch. And now I'm reading scripture, and I came up with an apostles diet, which is pretty cool. And we talked a little bit about that, about fasting. 77 times fasting's mentioned in the Bible. So I came up with this awesome diet. It's a 30-day diet. It's called the Active Transformation Program, the Apostles Diet. And it goes through the foods that the Bible wants us to eat. It goes through the fasting principles that aren't just of abstaining from food, but it's also about technology and serving. I'm only happy and comfortable in my skin in the service of others. So it's so important that I can find productive ways to serve. And that's an important thing.
Mm-hmm. Please send that to me, because Tammy and I would love to look at that. And, we do fasting, we do colonics, we do, probably she wouldn't me to say that, but we do a bunch of stuff. And I've been doing 10X Gary Brecka since January, and down 30 pounds, and I'm cold plunging every morning and walking every morning. And that finally took the DNA test to get, my vitamins right. And because a lot of it was I was missing
that's part
supplements.
Of it. Part of it is really, my whole philosophy is back to basics. How did God bring us in, and how does God want us to leave? And we're all lying to ourselves. We think this microphone belongs to you or me. It doesn't. It's God's, and we're using it while we're here. And when we're gone, it will go on to somebody else or tossed out to be recycled for something new. Yeah. So for me, the diet was more than that. It's about being connected. What's missing is the family dinner. Get off your phone. Even myself, I had to look at myself, because this is not about throwing stones at anybody out there. This is about throwing stones at me. I can't lie to the man I shave every morning. What the hell's wrong with me? I need to do this better. So it was like, for me, it was, you mentioned, we do that too. We take patients in, we do a DNA test, we do a lab work, we do a full workup at finding out who they are. And then once we find that out, then we can program our system to make sure that they get the right vitamin supplementation, whether it be vitamin D, which is actually a pro-hormone, really not a vitamin, methylated B vitamins, that you mentioned, cold plunge, 6 minutes in a 45-degree temperature pool releases the cold proteins from your liver. And we talk about saunas and that. And so we do all of that. But the most thing that separates what I've created and what is out there is Christ. because none of it is possible without Jesus.
No.
And
Exactly.
so what I do is I have the day you get up, here's your workout, here's your meal plan, here's your fasting plan for that day, and here's your scripture that you read. Right after you're done making your bed or before, please make sure you just read this couple sentences and just ponder it. Chew on that for the day during fast. So I try to tell people when you're fasting, don't worry about the food, chew on the word, and you'll be full. And you want
Exactly.
nothing ever. God told us, if you just lean on me, I got everything for you.
Yep. I'll supply you with
So-
everything.
So
You
now
know,
I know,
so
I
the-
know your mom, your brother John, not John,
Jeff.
and your daughter. What have they seen the change since you got baptized? Have they noticed or said anything?
Are they believers also? Like, have they been baptized?
No.
No.
My daughter's Catholic, Christian. She goes to a Catholic school in Iowa. My brother is on his journey. My father's been Catholic, and he goes to church religiously on Sundays. And my mom she's actually with me now. And I mean, she lives here in Las
Yeah.
Vegas. My brother lives in Ohio with my dad. My daughter lives in Iowa. But the book of Elijah talks about grief. And when my stepfather passed, my mom was suffering terrible grief. And I found this passage one time, went to church, and they talked about God said rest. If you don't know the story, look up the part about Mount Carmel and the battle between the pharaohs and this individual. And he's going to go back after he beats the pharaohs in this thing, and his wife's going to have him killed. And he says, I got to get out of here. So he flees and with his servants, and he's running, and he runs and runs and runs, and he leaves his servants, and he runs up into the woods, and he's going, and then finally he just says, that's it. I've come this far. I'm done. And God says, I didn't bring you this far to leave you here. And he said, rest. And he made him rest. And he slept for a day or whatever. And then he got up and he said, eat. And then he said, exercise. And then he said, go back and get your servants because you need fellowship. And I thought for my mom, fellowship means me spending more time. No, it meant people in the church who were going to help her work through her grief because they had their own. And therefore, they were helping each other. And then finally, it was have faith. And then therefore, they got to go into the city because of that. So, and then, years pass by and you're in the Word and then you're out of the Word. And for my mom, that's how it was. And then we started going to that gym I mentioned, the Fit to Serve gym with Derek. And my mom never, if you would have asked me 30 years ago as a young man in the gym, my mom would be my gym buddy and my gym partner, I'd have been like, are you out of your mind? What are you smoking?
She's pretty fit, though.
Yeah, she is 77 years young. She's beautiful. I take her to the gym. There's, again, no mirrors on the walls in the gym. It's all we read scripture, we work out, and we stay together. And then they fellowship. After that, we pack backpacks to take to Cambodia or any of our other mission trips in Mexico. And then when we're in our men's group on Wednesdays, our SWAT group, the coolest thing about it is that the women are outside walking around the building praying for us to be solid men because they realize the importance of strong men. And there's a reason why it's Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost and not mother, daughter. There's a reason. Everything is based on masculinity in the male. That's what God intended. And these women realize that. And they're not subservient and they're not objectified. Our group keeps, you shouldn't be looking at porn. You shouldn't be ideology and finding that's a fantasy. God doesn't want that. God wants you to,
No lust, none of that.
And lust of the flesh, but lust for Him.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that. So, for me, it has been a journey, ups and downs. I'm being very integritous when I say that it ain't easy being a Christian. It's harder. Sometimes some of the most difficult struggling things I've ever done is be a Christian, but I'm very proud of my Christianity. And I believe that we are the Gentile and the Jew, I believe the Christians are the people of Christ. And that's a very serious thing. It's not something just to say you do it. But my mom will come around. She'll be baptized here probably towards the end of the year or the early next year. I'm praying for my brother and my dad and my mom. But the fact that they're in the book, the fact that they're in the Bible cover to cover, and that's really where it's at. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, is that Derek Parent that you're talking about?
no,
Or-
Derek Del Rosario.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Derek
Yeah,
Del
the Fit to
Rosario.
Serve gym,
Fit to
right?
Serve. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
Calvary Chapel guy, and the Calvary. All those Calvary chapels are great churches, and I'm not here to build one church up after the next. What I'm here to do is build up Christ.
Yeah.
And if we all just did a little bit more of that, you'd see the abortions go down. You'd see marriages stay together. You'd see fathers being better, principles for their kids. And, you know, one of the greatest ways to ensure that your son is a good man is be nice to his mom.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, no, during COVID, we went to Calvary Lone Mountain. He was the pastor that actually sued the state. And because he was still having worship without masks. And
Absolutely.
we wanted to go to we still wanted to go to church. But the church we were going to kind of like shut down. And so we went there for a little bit, and then we eventually found Hope. But yeah, I love the Calvaries.
Yeah.
And Derek, his first name's Derek. He does the Calvary Las Vegas, the one right over here around the corner. So yeah, they're all, as long as you're going, right? That's the main thing.
Well, that's because we have a pastor in our group. He's a retired pastor, and one day he just sat there, and he throws out some stuff every now and then. He's like, it doesn't matter what church you're from, as long as Christ and God are the center of it. I don't care what you call yourself.
Right.
As long as those two are the center of it, because like I kid with him, I'm a recovering Catholic. That's how I say it.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest difference between Catholicism and Christianity that I can see is that Christians don't have saints. The saints we're all saints.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what God spoke to the saints. We're all saints. Are there people that are a little bit more strict with inside the religious aspect of it? Yeah, those are what, but I don't pray to a man. I don't pray to a woman. I pray to God. And there's only been one man perfect. And none of those saints can say that they never had committed a crime or did anything. I mean, that's just
sin.
Or sin. Yeah. So, and I'm not criticizing any Catholic or any religion. And a matter of fact, all religions lead back to Christ. You talk about, Islam and Buddhism and all of these other religions. They all mention Christ. So therefore, if he's the center of that religion, he's probably the center of mine. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So in the first episode, did we actually say the name of your chiropractic or the pain business?
So
I'm not sure if we did.
Ever Ready Health is our medical side. So if someone wanted to come in for hormone replacement, stem cell therapy, IV infusion, pre-op physicals, anything, men's health, women's health, all that stuff, that's under Ever Ready Health.
And that's what it's called, Ever Ready Health.
Ever Ready Health, yes. And then we have a personal injury practice called Integrated Pain Relief, which handles all our personal injury clients. Then I have my Las Vegas Pain Relief Center, which is my company.
3 businesses.
3 company, yeah.
Wow.
So it's
and that one's on Horizon Ridge.
Yeah, we
Horizon
have, yes,
Ridge.
yeah, this one's, and it's kind of my private, it's kind of what I started with, and I kind of keep all my, if you will, my cash practice separate from all the other ones so that it seems confusing, but when you keep it separate, it's better. So.
And then also I saw that you're starting to, you used to do like radio or
TV show,
TV
yeah.
shows.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that you're having people contact you if they want to be on the show. So why don't you talk about the show that you either started back up or you were continuing it, and I just didn't know. But
well, after I left the UFC, for 12 years I played a goofy doctor on TV. I played myself on the reality show Ultimate Fighter, treating all the athletes. And when that ended, and it ended really mutually, they were moving on to the Apex Center, and I was there for a couple of seasons. And then I really had kind of needed to move on and grow. You can only spend so much time, and then it becomes monotonous, and then it's work. And as soon as it becomes work, I'm out. So I did that, and afterwards I had a flair. I had a background in theater many years ago, and I did stand-up comedy. Obviously, I'm a doctor, so I wasn't so good at stand-up. But
okay,
so
Joe
I was
Rogan.
good at it, right? So I ended up where I just started interviewing people, and it started out more. And we filmed actually. We were the only person at the time to have a TV show on the Strip. Actually, on the Strip, we
Really?
filmed at the Stitched at the Cosmo in their facilities, and we did I think 14 or 18 episodes there, and it was great. And then we moved over into our own little studio, and I did 50, 60, 70 others interviews. And then it was like COVID hit. So a lot of things started to settle down, and then I was figuring out nonprofit clinics, trying to save my clinics, going through the whole fiasco of vaccinations and all of that. So certain things got put on the back burner, and one of those was the Ask Dr. Jon show. And
That's
is
what it's called.
Yeah, it's
Ask
called the
Dr.
Ask Dr. Jon show, and it'll be coming back out. We had a lot of people that I put it out there, and it was in probably, I think one of my people told me it was like within 30 minutes we had like 9 people reach out to me, and then by the end of the day I had like 50 people wanting to go. I think you reached out too and said let me on, and it was like okay. But it's a similar podcast to this. 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It'll actually, we're working on some concept ideas to kind of bring it where I'll have a co-host and he'll be the dealer, and we're going to do it around a poker table, and all of the proceeds will go to a charity for the person who wins.
Nice.
And we'll pick local charities, and we're going to liven it up a little bit and then kind of keep it that way. And I'm not suggesting gambling for any church folk out there. What I'm doing is trying to make it applicable to Las Vegas, and we're kind of doing that now. And we got this whole entire setup kind of going thing there, so that'll be it. But that is just an expression, me being able to express myself theatrically and to have, be on the camera and have a little bit of fun. My love is my work. I love my patients, and I love the staff that I work with. I love the people I do it with and who I do it for, and everything. And although sometimes I get a little stressed and fatigued, I'm pretty happy. 26 years in practice. I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I believe that we've just hit the ground running, and I haven't even hit my full peak yet. So we'll just kind of see where that plays out. But the show will be back. It'll probably be, we're kind of lining it all up for first quarter of next year to get through some of these things I have going on here.
Or anything I can do to promote it on Facebook, I'm willing to do that.
Well, maybe come on as one of my poker players. And
I don't know anything about
well, there you go. Then we definitely want you to come on the show.
21. I think I might know
just
what
said the magic words,
Yeah,
right? I don't know anything about poker. Here you go.
Depends on what charity.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's not really gambling. It's just more fun.
It's just raising money.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're raising money for good causes, and that's kind of what that is. But I have no desire to be a celebrity or to be a Joe Rogan. God bless Joe. I mean, he's what he's done and who he is, and there's so many others out there. But that's not my passion. My passion is to serve Christ, be a good doctor, be an even better father and better son and brother than what I have in the past, and just keep making myself, reinventing myself. My mentor, my hero is me in 5 years, and then it'll be me in 10 years, and then me in another 15 years, because it's up to me to do better. And I'm a sinner. I commit sins and don't mean to, and it's like we're all sinners. And there's only been one person that I've ever heard of, really only met in visions maybe, but I've never met him. But JC is the only person I know that's never committed a sin, and I think that sanctification means being a little bit more of that. So that's where I'm headed.
I gotta tell you, how do you do it? I'm sitting here listening, and you have this whole laundry list of stuff. Where do you find the time? You said earlier in the last episode, like, time is, that's the one thing of value that everybody has, right? Nothing else really matters. But I'm hearing you with Fit to Serve, with Keep It Simple, Make It Fun. You ran for politics. You were UFC. I'm like, if you don't have God in your life and you're not healthy, there's no way you can keep up with that kind of schedule.
You said it, honestly.
There's
you answered
no
kind of your
way.
own question. I not all that's successful, by the way.
No, it doesn't, but it still takes time.
Yeah, it is.
It still takes
but
time.
I'm organized, and I would be nothing if I didn't have the incredible people around me. So from my family to my staff to the people, my friends.
So it's a team effort.
It's a team effort. Yeah, I mean, my current director of operations right now, her name is Masada. I'm not sure she'll see the episode, or her and her under management, Sam. They're by far probably two of the most efficient, correct individuals I've ever worked with. They just make it so easy for me to step aside and to do other things and to be a part of something. So it's time management, and being present at the moment I'm needing to be present and being good at that. So if, like here, you guys see my phone and everything when I come in. I got a lot of things going on, but I need to, and hopefully I've alluded that to your viewer audience, and it's about being present. I'm here with you guys right now, but as soon as I leave here, I will be just as present with somebody else. I have meetings
wherever you're needed.
Well, I don't have a checklist. I have a time list, and so if we were on here and I said, like I said to you guys, okay, I cut. So for me, like on my Fridays as admin days, when I'm meeting with somebody, I say, how much time do you need, and request, and they say an hour. Okay, perfect. That means at 61 minutes, I'm hanging up on you. And I do. But I tell them ahead of time, like, look, don't think I'm a bad guy or a jerk, but what's going to happen is that at 61 minutes, that time has been allotted for somebody else who said they needed X amount of time. So I actually have met with investors and people, and they're like, where'd he go? Did he just hang up on us? And they'll go, like, no, he told you had 60 minutes. He said goodbye. And that's it, mid-sentence. I'm sorry, guys, I got to go. Love you, bye. And that's it. So by the way, it's 7:20. We got 7:30, 7:31.
Yeah.
But that's it. But that's all I do. And thank you. It's you know what? We only get 29,200 days on this planet. I will not give one away. Not to grief, not to depression, not to anxiety. Even though I have all of that,
nothing.
I'm just not going to give a whole day away. You know.
But here's my thing: how do you deal with it at night? Because if you have all this stuff, like I don't have nearly a quarter of what you're involved in, but yet at night my mind's always racing. You know, my kids, my family, my wife's family. You know, I'm retired now, so I don't worry about the job. But you know, I still have friends on the job. I have friends from the military, so I'm just like having all these thoughts racing, and to put the burden you have on yourself, I'm just like, wow, like it's incredible.
I'm certainly no hero. I mean, it is tough. I'm not going to lie, it is tough, and I'm grateful that I make it look easy, you know. But I'm like a duck. All right, on top of the water, I'm as calm as can be. Underneath, I'm paddling like heck. You know, it is. But it's you keep it into perspective. I'm better tomorrow than I am today, and I hope to be better the next day and the next day and the next day. And there are days where I have sleepless nights. I'd be lying to you if I didn't. And stress, a lot of things stress. Some my own doing, some not my own doing. But you got to meet the challenge. The best that you can. That doesn't mean you always win. Look, I mean, I was telling a friend of mine, man, I lose all the time. I lost campaigns. I'm divorced and enlisted 5. I was a boxer and lost more than I won. I said, oh my God, maybe I should stop trying stuff. And he says, no, my God, man, you live life.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you think you're failing, but you're living. He's like, imagine those people who don't get off the couch to do anything because they're too afraid of losing. And yes, you may have made an art of it, but it's okay.
And you're still batting probably over 400.
Yeah.
In baseball, you know, 250
He's
is.
probably batting 7 in.
No,
right?
but I mean, like in
My,
baseball,
yeah.
250 is like and up is
Yeah,
good.
well, 300 is great. And
Yeah.
you're still failing.
Right.
3 out
Yeah.
of 10 times.
Yeah, that's
Come
right.
on.
So
and he
yeah,
also, Domingo, he also does jerky.
Yeah, I have a beef jerky.
He makes jerky too.
Well,
Yeah, the business.
I have affiliate
That he was
Well, you
supposed to
gotta
bring
tell
for
us
my
that's the way-
wife.
Okay,
Put
so
on
yeah,
the-
you got to try the jerky. So it's
I
called
love
Avalon.
jerky.
It's Avalon Meat Candy. It's not my company. I'm just associated with it. I handle a lot of some of the keto flavors and stuff,
Okay.
but I'm associated with it. So we do a lot of work. But we won first prize for our jerky chips in the nation. We are the official beef jerky for the Hawaiian Islands.
Oh, wow.
And we have partnered with Aloha brand soy sauce. So we're a big corporation. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
people don't know this, that jerky is a $47 billion annual industry.
I didn't know
It's
that.
the largest snack food industry in the world or in the country, twice the size of chips and candy combined. Yeah, people don't know
wow.
that. So
I
it's
didn't
and
know
then that's another company that we kind of am associated with. I'm also part owner of a company called Veterans Dedicated Support. My stepfather was a colonel in the Marine Corps, and when he flew helicopters, CH-46, and one of the original members of Top Gun. Well, it was called the Sea Knight in the Marine.
Oh, yeah, the
Chinook is
Marines.
Army.
Yeah, the Army.
So I saw this most intelligent man I ever had met struggling with his paperwork. And
Oh, yeah, we
getting
were
his
going to talk
disability,
about
right?
this and we forgot. Good.
And the most important thing was that when he said to me, if you don't have PTSD, you will after filling out this paperwork. And I got fed up and saw that the botchery and what we were putting our men through and women in service. And I thought, this has got to fix. So we got together with a partner and we automated all of that. So we brought in the medical, the attorney, and the adjudication under one roof. And we automated the intake process so that it took 6 to 8 months, now takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Now, for what is this for?
For them.
For the disability?
Yeah,
or?
for them to get their disability rating. We link it to the theater in which they were in, which is the war they were in, or their service record to their disability. And we automated it with the right terminology, ICD-10 and CPT codes that's needed for the adjudicator to say, yes, this will go through, for the attorney to say, yes, I'll take the case, and the medical doctor to say, yeah, you got this. So that whole process was just antiquated. It was terrible. It was 50 years behind. And so we became a vendor of the VA. We automated it all now, and now we can help so many people. And we went to Sturgis in August, and then we got 117 people that we signed up at Sturgis, because a lot of the bikers were servicemen, and we're going to be able to help them, Vietnam vets, and you name it. And so it's another.
You got 3 here that are struggling.
Right.
Because
And
he's a vet.
If you don't have if you're a veteran and you're out there and you have a rating that's not high enough, or you don't have a rating, contact the show and get a hold of me. It's Veterans Dedicated Support. We can help you. And what the thing about it is, vets are humble. Let my brothers have it. It don't work that way. The money they gave to Iran, that came out of the veterans' pocket. Because if it wasn't used and they gave it away, it's yours. You earned it. You deserve it, and don't let them take it from you. If you don't have a good rating, we'll get you a better one. And if you don't have a rating, you need one because you've earned it, and that's really, really important. Yeah. And it's terrible what we're doing with our military people.
Like, I tried to get my sleep apnea, but I gave them my paperwork. I was already had the machine. I just wanted them to approve it because a friend of mine's brother got approved, and then I didn't get anything. I've got it for my hearing finally. I applied in 2014, 2023. I finally reapplied and got it late 2023. But yeah, sleep apnea. So I might have to.
With me, it's a little bit different because I did exactly what you said. I got out and I'm like, I'm not going to apply because I was actually in combat. So I've seen guys lose their arms, their legs, their life. So I said the money should go to them. Why should I get it? But when I called in 2022, I believe is when I called, the veteran on the other line ripped me a new one that I waited so long to apply.
You need to fix that, honestly.
Yeah. Well, no,
it's your money.
Did.
Good.
Yeah, I
okay.
applied already.
Well, good.
But it's the same thing like when.
And if you have any problems, let us know. We can help you. It really is about help. This is my God work. This is me helping veterans. When you hand person, you can get up to 12 to 18 months back pay for them, sometimes $3,000 and $4,000 a month. And I tell them, it's not for you, it's for your wife, it's for your kids. And if you get 100%, your kids can go to school for free. There are things you don't know that are eligible to programs that they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
But you can know. And it can help you and get it, and it's important, and it's yours, and you can't give it to your friend or your mate. You can't give it to them. You can give it to a family, but you can't give it to your buddy who lost a leg. But you can do him justice by not letting them take it and give it to Iran.
Exactly.
So I tell everybody out there that's a veteran that's listening to your podcast, please, Veterans Dedicated Support. We'll do the very best we can help you with all of my heart.
Now,
Get what you've earned.
Is it free or is there a fee?
Okay,
or is there a percentage?
it's very different. How we structured it is because I heard the horror stories of they take a percentage. We don't do that. There's no percentage
of your check,
and we don't charge anybody up front. If you come to us and we say yes, we can get you, and we do a really good, thorough screening of those we can and can't help, and if you're somebody that we say yes, we can, you don't pay a penny until we get you the money. And then we wait for our money and you get it. So it could be $2,000, $1,500, depending upon the areas. Sometimes we can get people multiple areas where they're getting tons of money back that they've earned, and there's an expense to it, but it's not. Again, it's a risk-free. Yeah. If you call us and we can't help you, you've spent nothing. If you call us and we say we can get it for you and we don't, you've risked nothing. Yeah. But you're going to learn something.
Exactly.
One, we're going to handle your paperwork, and whether it's us and you wait down the road to get it. But I will tell you that by the time we go through our really rigorous introduction process, when we decide we can get somebody help, there aren't too many we can't. It all really depends upon their records and all that. But if we do that, we can turn over a good product to them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Veterans Dedicated Support. It's good stuff.
That's just another thing on his list.
Yeah. Well, we want to be specific with your time because we knew you had this other event. So again, it's right around story time. If you have another story about anything, like anything on a TV show, like what was the worst injury you've
UFC,
anything.
Well, no, because we gotta watch out for HIPAA.
It's
he doesn't have to mention names.
Unless it happened on TV.
I'll tell you a story that meant something to me. I had worked at the same time. You're gonna love this. I worked for the Toronto Blue Jays at Cashman Field, all their farm teams. Okay, so I would go down there, and I would work down there right after I saw patients until 5 o'clock. I'd be down there, and I'd start work at the ballpark from 6 to 8, and then I would go work on the TV show from 8 to 11. Yeah, so literally I was working from 8 in the morning until 11 at night, and I did that 2 to 3 times a week, and I was really burnt out one time, and I had seen probably 50, 60 patients that day, and there was one gentleman on the show that I knew he didn't want to come up to me. He was the shyest guy on the show, and he didn't want to come up, and I knew he was hurt. And I wanted to get out there. I folded up my table. I'm ready to go. Doctor's bag. I'm out. And God put it on my heart to help him. And I thought, it's already 11. I'm not going to get home to midnight. And I said, that's okay. So I stayed, and everybody was kind of leaving the show, and he was there, and he stayed. And I asked him if he wanted treatment, and he was like, yeah, but I know you're trying to get out of here, Doc. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stay. And I remember that moment. It was kind of like, this is what God wanted me to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And how dare I rush out of here? And I stayed, and he ended up winning the show. And had I not done that, he would have been kicked off for a medical, and they probably would have not let him compete. But because, if you don't know what we do, it's pretty cool. And he stayed and he won. Eventually ended up winning the season. And after the season was over, he brought me his shirt, and it had all the guys sign it. And he just said, I want you to know that this belongs to you. And he gave me his gloves. He had signed them, and he said, this is yours, because if it wasn't for you, my life would not be going the way that it is. So that stayed with me, because it was really about, I had to, John 3:30, I became lesser, he became greater, and it ended up, he won the show, and that'll always stick with me. So that's a good show.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Thank you.
Well, as a friend, I appreciate you coming. Yeah, I mean, I know you're super busy, and I know we've been talking for a couple months to try to get you on here, and we're so thankful that you came, and I know you got another place to go, so I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you
Tammy,
both.
Tammy does want the jerky, so
I
will
know
call
it.
you and
Tell her I let her down on that.
I will come over to.
Hey, I want some jerky. I'll pay
Is
for
it at the one on Horizon? I know you had some there.
Now our main facility is off of Sunset, Sunset by the airport.
Okay.
It's Avalon Meat Candy. I'm going to bring you guys some.
Post office?
Very close to the post office.
Okay.
If you put in Avalon Meat Candy, it'll pop right up, and you can stop in and see. We got 26 flavors, all kinds of interesting, fun snack foods.
When are you there? So I can drop in and say hi.
Let me know when you're going, and I'll go with you. If
Okay.
you want to do that, reach out to me. I'd love to take you, show you what's going on there, and introduce you to all the key players, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And the tasting is absolutely the best part of it. So
We get to taste all of them?
you'll get to we do a lot of tasting, so normally they bring them out, and then it's just like, I know it sounds funny, but after 10 of them, you're kind of like, okay.
Not me.
Yeah, okay, all right, then we're going to throw it out there. We'll throw it out there, too.
All right. Well, we're going. Anyhow, like, subscribe, share, and again,
And watch.
And again, thank you, Doc, for coming on. Appreciate it. And do next year. You got to definitely participate in these different nonprofits he has.
And we'll make sure we get everything on that he's a part of, because there's a lot.
Jerry.
Thank you.
Jerry,
God
Remember
bless.
this. I'll leave with this. There are only two types of people on the planet: the humbled and the soon-to-be.
Yep.
Decide which one you are and be that.